We got a special couple that we've known for several years that have been out building the business, been committed. We know they got a couple, 2 or 3 people here from the group tonight. And they're dreamers and they're believers and they're really, really special from the state of Maine. Tim and Sherri Bryan.
We love you. Thank you. Woo. Oh, thank you. I guess they know that the Northeast is alive and well. And you people do us some proud, you really do. We love every one of you. And it's been a long time. You know, one of the diamonds was asking me, he says, Tim, how's it feel to be diamond? I said, well, it feels like after you've been pregnant for 9 and 10 and 11 months and finally it comes, you feel relieved. And I guess that's how we feel tonight. You know, I've been trying to think out back what we wanted to say. God, I've had enough years to prepare for it. I guess the first thing we're going to tell you is just how proud we are to be diamonds, especially Jaeger diamonds. And we're so proud of what Amway stands for and what it represents. We're so proud of the Jaeger organization, the love and the success that's shown, and especially of the great leaders and our sponsors, Dex and Bertie, because we love them so much. We want to, you know, the hardest thing, some of these diamonds are lucky they've been in the business a few short years and they can tell their story in 30 minutes. They should have given us the whole night. But, no. I didn't mean that. But we do have so many things on our heart we want to share with you tonight, because tonight's a special night. Because you're such a special bunch of people. And the first thing I think I can share with you is just one of the most precious things in my life, and I think the first thing we saw in the business was the idea that me and Sherri could share something together. God knows we never believed we could have shared so many wonderful, great things with so many wonderful, great people, and I'll share with you the greatest thing in my life, and that's my wife, Sherri.
Thank you. I'm supposed to act like a lady now. Come on, you're making it so difficult for me. I'm away from home, and Bertie's here. There is so much when we sat and we tried to think of all the things we want to share. And I don't know if we're really supposed to tell our story as such. I think you might have heard it a couple of times. It's something. It's even kind of hard to remember how far back and how much has happened, and a lot has happened in our life. Let me, for you who don't know us too awfully well, and there are this weekend some of you who don't know us. We did bring our people with us this weekend. Next weekend we may be a little... We may be a little bit more lost next weekend in Kansas, but I'm looking forward to meeting the other Diamonds families, because I'll tell you, we have already gotten a special friendship going, and we're proud and excited for each other, and this is an experience that even though we thought we were ready for, it's been something that you can't begin to comprehend. Let me back up a little bit and share. We do come from Maine. I have always lived in Maine. Have always lived in Maine. I come from a family of 4 children. I have an older brother and a younger brother and sister. I went to college. I went to high school. I never did go to college. Nobody in our family ever did. And that just wasn't something that we migrated towards. Dad worked in a shoe factory and worked his way up a bit there. And I went to high school and developed skills and became a secretary, and then through the process became a legal secretary. So basically that's my background. Tim came from a family of 4 children. I won't tell all of his story, but just perhaps a little bit so it frees him to share some other thoughts with you too. He comes from a family of 4 boys, and we went to separate high schools together, if you know what I mean. They were neighboring cities. I knew him in high school. I didn't know him well. As many teenage girls, I thought I was in love, so I didn't notice anybody else in the world at that point. Tim says I was a snob in high school. I have said this before, and I assure you again, I have never been a snob. Confident, yes. Snob, never. And I had a happy childhood and growing up. I was brought up in a family that was not terribly wealthy, like I say, shoe factory background. You don't make an awful lot, but we were happy, and our faith background was Baptist. Tim's was Catholic, and so we had some differences there. When Tim and I got married and we were into our roles, speeding the story along quickly, he gives me credit for our being in the business and seeing the business. I never in my wildest dreams ever saw what has happened today or in the last years. But what I did see that night is what a lot of women see, is that our lives were separate and going in 2 different directions, and that scared me. And I didn't want to run our home. I have never wanted nor needed. I am thankful I have a man that does that. But I wanted to share, and I wanted to be a part of his life. And I was afraid that the more we went our separate ways, the less and less I was going to be able to do that. So when I saw the plan that first night, that is what I saw, was couples, nice couples, excited about something they could do together, someplace they could go, and a way they could build together. And I had a dream that maybe a relationship. I couldn't begin to picture the material. That was so far away. And the material is enjoyable, and it's a lifestyle that I couldn't have dreamt before, but the material without the relationship that has developed would mean nothing. And I believe a lot of women feel like I do. My home is a beautiful home. I am proud that Tim has been willing to provide that. But my home is home because of our relationship, because of our family and our children, what we've learned and how we've grown together, and the friendships that make that home home. And that's special to me. I'd like to share a quick thought and try to save as much time as I can for Tim. In that, like I said, our faith background, my faith background was Baptist and Tim's was Catholic. And there are many, many varied faiths here. And I was proud and thankful for Cheryl last night when she could stand here and share her faith. And there were years when I grew up and I got away from home and got away from faith. And even in the beginning years of the business, even when I ached to come back to that faith and share that, I didn't dare. And for a long time, I didn't dare because I was afraid of offending Tim. And we as a couple have always been afraid to offend the people. We have found our faith and found our relationship through this business. For that is the most precious thing we've ever gotten out of the business. But I want to share with you like that faith. When I grew up, my mom and dad were very strong Christian people. We had a very strict Baptist family background. But that was my mom and dad's faith. And there became a point in time in my life when I had to decide if it was their faith or mine. I came to that point in my life when I chose that faith to be my own. Let me apply that to this business for you. You can relate the faith in whatever faith background you are from. whether you be Jewish or whatever background, you would have been brought up in that faith and it was your folks' faith. But there was a point in time when that became your own. In this business, you've heard and you will hear many, many speakers come on the stage. And we share our faith in this business from what we've learned. And while we were like you sitting in the audience, it was the speakers on stage's faith. And it became a point in time in our life when it became our faith. This is what we hope that you'll find, is the faith for you, what this business can mean for you, how it can change your life, and it can give your life what you saw in Cheryl last night. I was so full. I just couldn't get enough because she just radiated everything that represented to me what I wanted. And I share that with you, that we pray that you'll get from the speakers a faith for yourself, a faith in you, a faith in your mate, a faith in this business and where you can go with it, and a faith in your God, so that you'll have your priorities in order, and they aren't in that order. They are God first. And then, as you hear speakers and we share the lifestyle and the material things and all the others, then you will understand why the business means so much, because of all that we've gotten from it. Like Dexter shared today, the keys, all the different keys, and there are so many that you can get for this business. Let me share a gift and a goal that had been mine for years, and I want to dedicate this to Tim, because he wanted for me to develop, to be everything that I could be. And I love him for that. And I dedicate to Dex and Bertie, because they have meant so much more than we could ever begin to put into words, and how proud we are to stand here tonight to be personally sponsored diamonds.
Wow. I guess it's just, I know, you get so wound up, we get so excited about what the business can be. I just wish there was some way you could take what we have inside us and just kind of put it out on a bulletin board for you to read. It'd be so much easier. We love this business. We love what it stands for. It wasn't always that way with us. Maybe like some of you, we had doubts. And I remember the first rally or two I went to, I didn't want any part of this business. I didn't believe that Amway was anything that was for me. I thought it was kind of a hokey little thing that I didn't want any part of. I was teaching school back then, and my wife was a secretary, and I'd got involved in several things. I was involved in apartments with a couple other men, and I was involved with, well, in a small construction company, and we were working hard to try and make it. And I remember one of the first reactions I ever said when I first saw the business. I was too busy failing to find out how to succeed. But you know, it's kind of funny. I had all the preconceived notions that anybody else would have. I think it took the gentleman who finally got us to look at the business, I don't know, probably close to a year to get us to ever sit down and look at this Amway thing. I knew what it was. I didn't want to listen. Finally, my wife convinced me to say, look, honey, maybe we ought to sit down and take a look at this business. I did. I'll never forget that first meeting. And I went into the meeting knowing it was Amway, knowing I wanted no part of it. And I remember they showed the plan. I sat there and I wasn't willing to listen. After the meeting was done, we got up and just walked out and never said goodnight, and I was just that negative. And I could tell you how many boards wide the floor was and how many tiles he had in the ceiling, because I never once washed the board. I remember I told a lot of people I never saw the program after the first night. I remember he came back and tried to show it to us again. And I still could never remember seeing the plan, because I was just that negative about the whole business. But I guess, you know what started me on the way, I guess? The things we talk about so much in the business, and so many times it's the secret and the key, the system that Dex has given us with the books and tapes and seminars and rallies. Because it was just those things that got me to start opening my eyes. I remember the first book I read, a book about how life is tremendous, and I started reading it, and it finally got me to realize there's something in life about being positive, and how you look at life determines how happy you'll be. And all of a sudden I realized that how miserable I was and how negative I was and how, God, I must be missing something. And I was missing so much. And even though I started seeing, boy, there's something about the attitude behind the business, I still didn't want any part of the business. Little by little, I guess I started listening to the tapes. And all of a sudden it hit me about God, just how much an attitude has to play with your life. And how important it is that your attitude is a part of you. And that part of you is the most critical part of your existence, your success, and where you're going to be with your whole life. Then they finally convinced me to go to a rally. The first one I didn't see much, but it was the second rally I went to. I started seeing some people that I don't know, I guess I was a little envious. I guess I was a little jealous because they had so much more than I did. And it wasn't just the financial things they had. They had a peace, they had an excitement, they had a thrill in their life that I was missing. I guess, like most people that have ever played athletics, like I used to always love sports. I was never a great one, but I loved the thrill. I loved the competition. I loved being in the game. And I guess being out of high school and out of college and out of the service, I guess I lost the thrill out of my life. There was no thrill because it seems like, I know, most of you probably felt the way I used to feel. It was just a mundane existence, that you go to work, to get up, to go back to work. And I remember sitting down and asking Sherri one day, I said, honey, is this it? Is this life? To get up, to go to work, to pay your bills and do it day after day after day, the same thing? When you can drive to work and when you get there, you don't even remember making the drive? Is that how exciting it is? It's almost like running down and getting up the morning newspaper and opening it up and reading the obituary column. If your name's not there, you go to work again. God, I knew there had to be more to life than that. There had to be something else. There had to be something that would create a thrill. I remember reading reading a while ago, and I can't remember where I got it, but it said there are two great tragedies in life. That is a man that never had a dream to strive for, or a man who has accomplished it completely, and he's done. God, I started thinking, oh, that's so true. I guess the reason I was so bitter back then, I was so negative, because I had nothing in my life. It seems like the thrills and the challenge had gone. And all of a sudden, I guess that's what makes Amway so special. All of a sudden, it brings back a hope. A hope that maybe things can be better. Maybe that's why you're excited this weekend. Maybe that's why you're here instead of home, like so many other people that ought to be here. Maybe that's what makes the difference. Maybe that's what makes that critical little difference, why you'll succeed and others will fail. And that's why maybe a lot of people that try and come in and analyze Amway can never do a true analogy, because they don't understand sometimes the little things that make such a great difference. Maybe that's why you're here. Have you ever sat down with people and, God, you wanted to find something you could do with your life? Have you ever sat and talked to people and say, gee, I wish there was something we could do. I wish there was a way. There's got to be a way we can find a way. Have you ever sat around the living room, ever talked with friends before? Ever talked to somebody at work and said, boy, I wish I could find something else? I wish I could find a way to get ahead? I guess the thing that makes Amway so exciting is the thrill and the hope that we offer. The hope being the dream, the vision. And that's why Dexter always says, sell the dream, because it's the vision of tomorrow that'll bring the dreams of today. And when you have a dream, and it's strong enough, then you go into action, and that dream will become a reality. Well, I don't know. We got into the business, but it took me 2.5 months to even get moving. And I guess I wasn't the greatest superstar, the fastest one to ever build the business. But at least I've always been one that when I made a decision, I decided that was it. That, man, it had to be there for us. I guess the other thing that hit me when we first started turning me around about getting me to see the business is I started seeing a lot of sharp people that impressed me. People that had a lot more going for them than I did, and who was I to think that maybe Amway wasn't real? I started realizing that the Amway offered some other benefits that I hadn't realized before. We started seeing the benefit of working together, and we started getting excited about that. And boy, we always thought that, one thing, we had made a decision years ago when we got married, that was it, period. Our marriage was going to work because we decided it was going to be that way. And there was no other way for us but to make it work. And we had decided there had to be this decision. And I guess it's the ability that we had made decisions like that made it a little bit easier for us to make Amway work. We'd always had an agreement for years. Me and Sherri had one agreement. I'll tell you, if you learn this, it'd be great. We had an agreement years ago that, man, if we ever got mad at each other, we didn't ever go to bed mad. One time we stayed up for 3.5 months. But we don't go to bed mad. No. But it's true. But it was so important that we put that same determination and commitment that we had in our marriage, because we wanted so bad for our marriage to be a successful one and a happy one. We wanted so much to offer our kids a happy home, a healthy home, a home. And I guess I reflect back years, because I was thinking when we had our children and we had been married a few years, and I always thought, I said, boy, wouldn't it be beautiful? Wouldn't it be beautiful if we could find a way not to preach to our children, not to tell our kids what they ought to do, but we could find a way to show them, and we could be a living example and a testimony to the way that they ought to live their lives, rather than trying to tell them and trying to preach at them. And God, it's almost like we talked about that one night, and almost a few months later, boom, here we were in the business. God. But I'll be honest, I didn't recognize it back then. But sometimes a dream comes to you disguised a little bit. And I guess that's the way Amway came to us, disguised. Because when we first looked at it, like I said, I didn't want a part of it. But little by little, I started growing, and finally we made a decision after 2.5 months that we were going to build a business. 3 months later, we went over 7,500, then on to direct, and then over a gradual period of years, we built little by little by little. We started working and building and developing a large organization that we're very proud of today, and we're very proud of the people it represents. But we're also more proud of the dreams and the hopes and aspirations that it stands for coming tomorrow for all the people we love so much, a part of that organization. You see, it's like I was telling the directs yesterday, the greatest thing, and probably the one true principle that makes Amway probably the greatest business in the world today, is that it's based on the win-win philosophy of life. That you help somebody else win, and you have to win too. And when you're in a situation like that, man, and you know, when I look, and we're so proud to be Diamonds, but we're so proud that we've been able to help a few other people somehow get at least a beginning taste of what success in life can be, and how wonderful it can be. And I guess that's what turns us so on about being Diamonds, that maybe somehow, by us being Diamonds, and the Berlins, and the Courtneys, and all the rest of them, that somehow maybe some of you will realize that, boy, life can be fantastic. If you only believe a little bit more, and you only be willing to work a little bit harder, somehow it will be for you too. Somehow you can be here. I remember years ago sitting out there, my God, to see somebody on the stage to me was so far beyond what I could even vision back then. But little by little, I stuck there, and I kept coming back. And I kept coming back, and I was hoping and praying to God every time that somehow He'd give me the ability to believe that I too could someday be a diamond. But just sticking with it, persistence and determination. We went through our struggles like everybody else. Everybody in my family laughed at me. I didn't have one person in my entire side of the family that would listen or look at the business or buy a product for over 5 years. But doggone it, sometimes you have to stand for what you believe in. God, if you see something and you feel it and you taste it and you sense it and you can embrace it and you know it's good, how can you let somebody who knows nothing about it take it away and convince you that it's not right? God, you got to stand up for what you believe in. I love so much what Paul Korn says. And he says, boy, when sometimes they question your business and you know it's good inside and you can feel it, God, just realize you know something that they don't know anymore. And stand for it. And the harder you stand, the stronger you stand, the easier it is to convince other people. Because everybody's looking for the strength of your belief. The determination and the enthusiasm that comes from you, from a deep-seated belief. And once you have that, you'll find out that it's so easy to sponsor people. So easy to make the business work. Our story has not been a glamorous one. Just been a story. I guess what enables me to believe and to have so much hope is that we weren't anything special. I guess we're probably as typical a couple in the world of Amway as anybody. I was scared, probably like most of you. Me and Sherri, we didn't come from glamorous or professional or highfalutin backgrounds. We're just a couple that I guess were a little frustrated in a little life, maybe a little fed up, maybe a little sick and tired of being tired. Maybe just had hoped and held out hope that maybe something could happen good for us. And I guess we almost stumbled into Amway accidentally. I don't believe it was an accident. I believe it was a providential hand of God that somehow led us to this business. But all of a sudden, it was there. But the business offers so much. It offers us that hope. I guess I've been listening to so many of the speakers this weekend, so many of the Diamonds, and boy, I just get so turned on listening to it because I don't believe there's ever been, and not because I'm here, but it's just because I've heard them. Boy, I don't think there's ever been a more powerful program ever to put together at a free enterprise day than this weekend. It has been unbelievable. But I guess what every speaker is trying to pass on to you, and every one of the diamonds are trying to get you to see and understand. Doggone it, you don't need to exist anymore. You don't need to just settle for second best. You don't have to live a mediocre life. You don't have to settle for average. Though God knows all the losers in the world would like you to believe that, the media and everybody else, but we honestly don't believe you have to. Life isn't meant to be just existence and to settle for us. It's meant to be lived. It's meant to be experienced. It's meant to be a thrill and excitement. It's meant to be like a ball game that every day you wake up and you're turned on and you're excited because there's something great happening in your life. And that you've got a hope and a dream that tomorrow can be just something great. I think that's one of the greatest things that our president did for our country when President Reagan took office. The one thing I believe he did more for America than any other president in years, that he inspired a belief that we got a good hope for tomorrow and that we got a dream that can be real and it can be good and it can be true. And we got to believe in it. I guess what he did, and the reason I love him, I believe him, he's a great president. He got us to believe in our country again. He got us to believe that America can be great and that America can do great things. And I guess that's what turns me on about this weekend, because they're trying to get you to believe that you too can be great and get you to re-believe in yourself and to believe in Amway, that it is the best thing going. There is nothing that'll ever take its place. Well, I guess you just somehow got to sense the feeling this weekend. If you can't take home and you can't digest all the information, if you can just get the feeling and the thrill and what it can be and the expectancy inside you, God, that's what's important. No, life is not meant to be existence. It's supposed to be a thrill. It's supposed to be a treat. It's supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be, I know, I guess that's why they always refer to life as a game, because games mean thrill. It means excitement. It means sometimes victory, and it means sometimes defeat. I think what makes America great is the opportunity, but the trouble is so many different times we misconstrue that. We take it though the opportunity should mean a guarantee, and there are no guarantees. The only thing that America guarantees is the opportunity that we have the right to succeed, and we also have a right to fail, and we have a right to make the choice. And Amway gives us a chance to make that choice a more possible one than any other business going, because of the possibilities and the way it works. Somehow you got to understand, because of just the operations and how it works, that it offers every one of you a chance that you can do something with this business that probably none of us would ever have a chance to in other businesses. I used to sit back and I think so many times, and sometimes I think and I look and I say, God, you know, we've been so fortunate that God has blessed us so much. But I wonder, God, would it have ever been able to be a reality in something else the way we are? From our background and my level of commitment and my attitudes, I think Amway is probably the most forgiving business in the world. God knows I've made so many mistakes. And you can stumble, you can fall, and you can trip, but you can still get up and keep going. And Amway will accept you again and again and again until you do make it right. What other business offers you that? What other people offer you what you people offer us and offer each other? And that's a hope and a belief and a strength together. Man, nobody can beat us if we stay together and we believe like we believe tonight. If we believe and we carry this belief home in our hearts and we work together as a group, there isn't nobody in the world that can defeat Amway. There ain't nothing that can beat us. And that, you know, talk about Amway being a $2.5 billion company, that'll be a thing of the past in a year or two. And where can we go on to great heights? Boy, I tell you, I get so excited when I think of some of the great horizons that are down the road for all of us, if we can just believe, if we can get the feeling. A lot of people ask me, I guess I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I guess we're the luckiest couple in the world to have the sponsors we have with Dex and Brody Yeager. I guess we love and respect them more than we could ever tell them. I think that's some of the hard times when you walk up and so proud to have them bring us up on stage tonight as their diamonds. Because I think one of the driving forces for us, because we did love them, we did respect them, because they offered us and they gave us so much of their life, that the least we could do is repay them with the idea to be one of their diamonds. Because that was so important to us, to please Dex and Brady, let them know that we did love them, and we did thank them. A lot of people say, how's it feel to be sponsored by a crown? God, you wouldn't know. Because he's not a crown, he's a friend. More than he'll ever be a crown to us, he's a friend. And it's exciting to be sponsored by a crown, but he did something for us that's the most important thing you can do for any people you can do. He taught us how to believe in us. And I guess that's the one thing that he taught us, and that, boy, if you can do with your people, somehow let your people know you believe in them, that you care, and the more you can let them know you believe in them, the more they'll believe in themselves. Because a person will only be achieved and become that which he believes that you believe in him. How much you believe in a person depends upon how far he'll go and what he'll become. It's based upon his level of belief. And so many times our level of belief is determined by how we feel other people believe in us. I guess the one thing Dexter taught us more than anything else, he taught us that if our business was to become a reality and was to become something good and real for us, it had to be based upon our belief in ourselves, our belief in our dream, and our most important, our willingness and our ability to do it ourselves. If it is to be, it's up to me. He didn't allow himself to be a crutch to me. He didn't allow us to use him for something we didn't need him for. He did the greatest thing he could do. I refer to it a lot because, see, he gave us the most precious and the most prized possession a friend can ever give another friend. More than drawing a plan for us or doing meetings for us, he did something much more spectacular than that. He gave us that which only a great friendship can offer. He gave us his time, his energy, and his love. What else can you ask of a man? And that's all we needed. If he gave us that, we had it all. I guess we're all looking for a way to change our life. All I can tell you tonight, you don't have to look any further. Man, you found it. You found it here, and you found it in Amway, and you found it with something that you can do. And it's something that, boy, that you can take, and, man, you can accomplish great things. I've always dreamed, and I've always hoped, and I've always longed when I was in college. I remember laying in bed, because I went through all of college not knowing what I wanted to do. How I ended up teaching, I don't know. Process of elimination, which I didn't want to take, which is what it left me with. I used to lay in bed and say, you know, it's kind of funny. In college, you read about the accomplishments of great people, and you hear about them, and they talk about them. You always wonder, can you do something great? I guess Amway offers you and every one of you the chance to do something great with your life. Why is it great? Because of the lives you can touch. You ask yourself, why is Dex so great? Why is Dex and Brody such great people? Look at the lives they've touched. You multiply this many, many times over, and you just have a small inkling of the lives they've touched and how many lives they've changed and how wonderful they've been and how many. And all of a sudden you realize you can do the same thing. Because we all have a system. We have the system that he offers us, that he helps us with, that he teaches us and wants us to believe in. Because it's the same system that he's built an empire with, that you can do the same thing. And that we can not only change our lives, we can change the lives of the people we love and we care. And sooner or later, if we can change the lives of the people we care about, they can change the lives of their friends. With that ripple effect, man, we can change the United States and we can change the world. If we believe in it big enough and strong enough. Well, I guess that Amway is a phenomenal tool because it allows us to bring out the best in people. I guess that's what a friend is. He brings out the best in you. And I guess that's why I consider Dex and Brody so good friends, because they brought out the best in us. And we've got a long way to go, but God, he's stuck with us and he believes in us. And I guess that's what we try and tell you, that we believe in you and we know you too can become great people. And that God knows that you just trust and you believe in your line of sponsorship and you trust in the system. And you believe in the system. You can see the fruits of the tree. You know the system's there. You just got to somehow get yourself so you can trust and believe in your line of sponsorship. You can trust and believe in your diamonds and the people and your emeralds and the direct that you have, that you know they want and long for your success. Man, we've got a system, an unbeatable system. We got something that's far beyond its time. Amway itself has a system that's so far ahead of its time, it's crazy. I don't think many of us have ever sat and realized just how far Amway's ahead of everybody else in the field. Dex has given us the best system within the system. He showed us how to develop a system the quickest, the best, the most efficient way. He told us to do it the right way, based on principles, the principles that are good, that'll hold our business together for the years to come. The principles that is based upon that your business is a win-win business. and that your success is going to be based on the success of many great people. Well, I guess it brings out the best in people. It teaches people how to believe, teaches people how to have faith, teaches people to trust again. It teaches people that people are good people. All people are good people if you only but give them a chance to believe in themselves again. It teaches us to be men of our word. It teaches us the honesty and trust. It teaches us the ambition, drive, and effort will be rewarded in this system. It teaches us that free enterprise is the greatest system that's ever been known to man. I guess just in closing this evening, just share with you why Amway is so special to me and Sherri. Why it's so special in our lives and so many of the lives of the Diamonds, and I think if you look around the auditorium, just so many of the directs. Amway has taught us a different meaning to success. No, when I say Amway, I don't mean just Amway. I'm talking about Dex and Birdie and the Diamond, the business, the relationships, the tapes, the books, the association with the wonderful people that you've seen on the stage all weekend. They have taught us something different than we wouldn't have ever learned anywhere else. Why, I used to ask myself for years, why didn't I learn what I've been taught in this business? Why didn't I learn it in college or schools? What's wrong with our system today? That it takes a silly little business like this where you really learn what life is all about. All of a sudden, in this business, we found out what's the true meaning of success. Not what you get. That's not success, it's just what you get. But it's also success is what you do with what you get. That's even a lot more important. And even more important than that, what you become along the way. That's what's important. And that's what success has changed and meant today for us. I guess the business has taught us a new meaning to loving your fellow man, a new meaning to brotherly love. And I can think of a man that one time taught me that, the first one at the start, and that was Tony. When he drove and he spent time and traveled and did meetings for us, never meant a dime in his talking, but Tony Renard was there to teach us that, man, people do care, and there doesn't have to be a financial reward or anything else in there, that people do care, and people do want for your success, and people do love you, and people do really believe in you. Because I had to learn that, because I didn't believe that. I almost thought all that stuff was a motivational ploy used to propel people into action to generate more volume for somebody else's success. But I found out that in Amway, it's a real principle. It's something that's true and something that's sincere and something that's honest and something you can believe in. It's also taught us a whole new meaning to the word friendship and friends. God, that's an important word. I think why we in Amway are so blessed, so far above any other business in the world. No, and God Amway offers the opportunity to make money. It offers you the opportunity to have nice homes and cars and travel. And it offers the opportunity to be free and choose your own destiny. But more important, it gives you the opportunity to develop a wealth of friends that no other business in the world offers like ours. And the kind of friends that are true. The kind of friends like just some of the ones we've developed with John and Shirley and Greg and Pat. I could list them all day. That they added more than a new meaning to the word friendship. They added a new meaning to the word brother and sister because that's what they are to us. And sometimes you'll understand what it means and the kind of relationships you can develop. Dex and Birdie has shown us that. There's another meaning to mom and dad. There's another meaning to brother and sister. Another meaning to friend, something deeper than we were ever experienced before. Well, I guess they also taught us a new meaning to the word faith. I thank my brother Ted for that, and Tony, and Dex, because they showed me that faith is more than just trying to believe in something. The faith can be something really, really strong and a really part of your life that's important, and it's real and personal. And that there is a living God that believes and wants for you to succeed, and I believe created you to win, and that we were all born to win. God created us to be winners, not to be losers. He created us to succeed, not to fail. And he taught us that it's a relationship, it's a personal belief. And man, if you believe in him, that everything is a reality and a possibility, if you only but trust in God. I don't take the credit for our success, God. I give it to Dex, and most important, I give it to God, because he's been blessed us so well. We just trusted in him. I guess it's like a little anecdote I was told, and a little girl getting down on her hands and knees one night saying her prayers. And she says, she kneels at her bed in cute little pajamas on, and she folds her hand and she bows her head, and she says, God, she says, please tonight, she said, would you please take care of my brother and my sister? Would you take care of my teddy bear? Would you also take care of Mommy and Daddy and Nana and Grandpa? Would you take care of all my friends? And God, most important of all, please take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, we're in a whole bunch of trouble. And I guess that's how I feel. And I thank him, and I thank Dex and Tony and Ted for showing me what a real faith is in our life. And I guess when you reach a point and you develop to that point, and I don't know, it's a feeling, it's a sensation. I wish I could put my hand on it. But there's something about when you have a peace inside where you know that you know that you know that, man, we've got it all. You know, there's the best, and then there's the rest, and baby, we're the best. And you just know it inside. So there's no question. You have a faith, and you have a peace, and you have assurance, and you have a confidence that God, if you just stay with it, it'll happen for you. And I guess that's why when we made the decision to go diamond, and I had to build my faith, and I built my confidence, I trusted in Dex. And I trusted in Amway. It's the greatest system. Nothing's changed. And it's better today, and it will be better tomorrow. You can have that same peace. Look around. How can you doubt the system? Look at the diamonds you've seen. How can you question? Why can't you have that peace and go home and know that if you trust and you believe in your work, God will happen for you like it did for us? We're no different. But you are special. But you've got to believe it more than we can tell you. That you have to have that peace. This business is special. God didn't throw me in here by accident. God didn't put any of us here by accident. We're here by choice. Because we know there's something special here. That's why some of you are willing to travel 20 and 30 and 40 hours at great expense. Because you know there's more here than just the business where you sell a few products. Just like some of you sitting there tonight. You want so bad to believe that, yes, for you too, this can be a reality. God, all we are here is a testimony to you that yes, 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 for you it can be true. I wish I could speak all night. I have so much I want to share. But I think probably the greatest thing I can share is probably my time with the other speakers following, because they're so much greater than I. We love this business. We love what it stands for. I guess it's given us a whole new meaning to life. Because that's the last, probably the most important thing. I talk about all the different serendipities that we've been able to get through the business. All the wonderful things that we've taught and we've acquired, and the feelings, but we've also been able to put it all together because we've had a great leader with Dex and Bertie, a great couple that showed us how to take the little parts of the life and all these little pieces of the puzzle and put them together where it makes a life that's fulfilled and happy that we want to share with everybody we find today. I guess the measure of the size of a man can be determined by the size of his dream. I guess that's why Dex and Bertie are probably the two of the greatest leaders in the world of Amway. We ask ourselves a lot of times. We always talk about, like a tape I heard recently, right time, right place. You hear about the cause, and you hear about our country, and you hear about the great free enterprise system. You hear about the silent majority that sit and don't speak up when they need to say the right things. You always say, well, who's going to get the job done? When is it going to get done? How long are we going to wait? How long are we going to wait for anything to happen? How long are you going to wait before you make a decision? How long are you going to let the years slide by before you decide, come on, honey, let's get going. Let's do something, change our life. How long are you going to let the kids grow and grow and grow before you decide you want to be home? When? going to stop and say, now? When are you going to accept the love that your people are holding out? When are you going to reach for that helping hand that they're offering you? Just like Dex has always held out his hand. He says, Kim, I'm there all the time. I'm there whenever you need me, as long as you need me, when you need me. If you just reach out for it. And that's what we did. And that's what you need to do. Reach. Reach out for it and believe that can happen for you. Reach out and trust your lines, the sponsorship. Trust the people you work with. They will be there. And they will help you achieve that goal. I suppose that you keep asking yourself, what does tomorrow hold? Well, until you make a decision, until you make a commitment, until you make your choice, until you sit down, and I hope before you leave this weekend that somehow somebody's put a burr under your saddle, that somebody's got something that turns something inside of you, that they got you thinking, or maybe somebody gets you mad enough, they say, I got to do it, I got to move now. And maybe somehow you'll find a purpose. We can't tell you how much we love this business. And why do we love Amway? Not because it's Amway, because Amway is you. Because we love every one of you. We thank God that you came into our lives somehow. We thank God every night that we are affiliated with such a wonderful, marvelous bunch of people that are sitting in this auditorium. So many of you we love so dearly, we know you so well. So many of you we hurt so bad because we want so much for your success. We have a respect and a love and an admiration for the people in the business just because you're here. Just because your willingness to be here with the hope and the chance that the dream can be real and free enterprise will work for you. I'll tell you what, now's the time. And this is the place. And most important of all, you are the people that can change the world because you are the ones we love and we believe in. God bless you. We love you. Thank you.